Sorry.
We love our brother in Christ, Terence Libro.
Eric, can you bring me in, please? Yes, please, Eric. Yes.
I pray that you will give him the word to speak to me, Father God. Now, speak your truth, Father God. Now, let us know what you've done in his life, Father God. How you still got it with miracles, Lord. Pray that you are calm all fear and anxiety in our Lord. Now, keep doing it, Father. You will, you pray that.
Amen.
Amen.
All right. Good morning, everyone. I guess I had a pretty tough childhood growing up. My dad was really hard on me. He had I have 6 sisters and 2 brothers. One passed away when I was 12, overdose. My dad, all of them. I just have one sister that's a blood sister, so all the rest are half brothers, half sisters. And my dad's house, was pretty hard. We had kind of the similar setup here. We had chores every week. He was just very organized. Everything was, we had the same food every week. And I played football growing up, and he was the coach, and just really, really rough on me. And I kind of got used to it after a while. And I want to say right around when I was 12, I didn't want to be at his house. I liked my mom's better because I could do like a lot more stuff, And I'd always noticed he had all this money just flowing around and doing these weird, meetups with people. And I really wanted to get out of his house. So I want to say one day he left. Me and my sister were at the house just alone, and we were like searching through his room. We were trying to get out of the house, so we tried to find any way we could, and we knew he was doing something sneaky. And so both of us are searching his room, and I want to say my sister left like halfway through it. She was scared because he was very, very, very evil man sometimes. And I kept on looking, and looking in his bathroom, and he had his like water, his like mouthwash cup turned upside down. And so I picked it up, and there's like a bundle of I guess what it was heroin, but I didn't know that at the time. And so I took one, put it in my shoe, bottom of my shoe, and I went back to my mom's. When we went back to our mom's house, we showed it to her, and she got us out of there. And it was pretty bad. It was pretty rough. From then on, it was kind of I don't know. I guess my mom kind of babied us a little bit, and I want to say that was really just that's probably the worst thing that could have happened, because my dad was very strict, and not that she wasn't either, but she allowed certain things, and that's when I started drinking. I started drinking like I want to say like a year or so later, and not like really heavy, just as high school kids do. But fast forward a little bit, before this whole thing started, before I came here, I want to say when I met my daughter, or my son's mom, she was taking Adderall, and I had never taken it before, so I obviously took it. It was phenomenal, and and it was good until it wasn't. And over the years, just slowly taking more to counteract, just from my body getting used to it. And I want to say during COVID, until it was like 2019 or 2020, a bunch of my friends were like gambling on their phone, FanDuel and DraftKings and all that. And man, once I started that with the Adderall, I just couldn't. I had such a huge problem. I mean, every dollar I got was going right into that, and I'd be broke the next week, and blow my whole paycheck on it. And I'm gonna say 2017, my father, Father's Day morning, I got a call, like 5 a.m. My dad passed away, and me and him didn't really have any relationship at all after we left, me and my sister. And I always tried to, but he would just blow me, he'd blow the conversation off if, it's only lasted a couple texts. And that hit me really hard because I never got to say like I was sorry, or there's like a lot of stuff there. And it wasn't until I had kids till I was, pretty grateful for how he raised me. I mean, it wasn't always the best, but I understood. I had two kids, he had four he was handling, and so it was hard for me just with two, and so I got that. I understood why he was the way he was, and so I mean, when he had his own business painting, he had his own painting business, it lasted about 30 years, but towards the end of his life, he was kind of his health was deteriorating, he had diabetes. He was like on the verge of losing his leg pretty much, and he had all these lawsuits going on with he had to change companies a couple of times because he'd get hospitalized for like a month or two, and the money he got from the jobs they would sue, but he couldn't do it. And so I don't know, for some reason I was in the union at the time. I just graduated to journeyman, did my 4 years, and instead of making like 40 something an hour, with this strong company that I was with, I just quit, and I went online, I bought the business thing that he had originally. I bought that back up and registered for the business, and then pretended to be him on the phone so I can get his phone number switched into my name, or switch the network and all that. He had a phone number that was in the Seattle City where we grew up, and so I got that phone number back, and I just worked my tail off to try and get that business, up, and it was great for the first, I want to say 3 or 4 years. I was doing really well, and then COVID hit. I want to say like 2020 or 2021 is when the gambling problem really started. It wasn't. I just didn't feel fulfilled anymore. I don't know, all these. I just wanted more money. I don't know what it was. I don't know what dragged me to it, but it was just. I mean, I'd blow. No point even talking about it, but a lot of money. Lots of money. To the point where I get let's just say $3,000 check to start this job, and I blow that entire paycheck. Plus, I go negative in my bank account, like another $2,000-3,000, and I'm begging my mom to save me. Just I didn't have any money for material. I mean, just stress after stress after stress every single week for a year and a half. It was a big nightmare. But it wasn't until I was supposed to pick up my son's mom one weekend, or my son from his mom one weekend, and she just never answered. And I'm wondering, it's like wondering why she wasn't answering, and she just called me and was like, "Yo, I'm in detox in Philly. You gotta figure it out." So diapers was involved at that time for her, so I had to take him, and I never really dealt with the school thing. I kind of just let the moms do that. It's a lot easier. And prior to diapers, it was probably about a week, just about a week before they were getting involved, where I was when you have a business bank account, you're allowed to write checks to people and go cash them. But if it's a personal one, they don't allow you to cash it. So the guy who was working for me, I was writing him, even though I was like -3, I don't know how much it was, 1,500 or something like that on my bank account. I had no money in my bank account, but I was still writing him checks anyway, and he was cashing them, giving me the cash. I'd throw him some money, and I remember I think we hit we didn't hit, but we went to eight places. I think it was 8 times. I was writing checks first 300, then that worked, so 800, that worked, $2,000, that worked, $4,000. Just it was like $8,000 total. And on the last time he tried to cash one in Atlantic City, they kept his license, and they were like, "Yo, we own all the stores. You just, it's like a federal crime." And it was I was very stressed because I had $0. I already got a bunch of money from these jobs, plus all the money I just blew from all the fake checks. And I was asking everybody to help. Like, "Yo, you got money, you got all this money," and I owed $8,000. Either pay him that or whatever the charges were going to be. And luckily, the guy who was cashing checks for me was able to sweet talk the guy and just say, "Give him some time. He's going through something." And so I had 2 weeks to pay it all off. And this was right before diapers. So I was like, "Dude, if I don't pay this stuff off, then my son's going who knows where." So very stressful, but thankfully the Lord made it work, because I'll tell you, I already had a job where I got the people to sign on for more work, so there was extra money there. Plus, the worker I was working with had another contractor he did work for. He threw me another job. There was like 3 jobs total. I got like just the exact amount I needed, maybe like a few hundred more, which I gambled right after with that money. But I ended up paying the guy back, all good. And so right then and there, I was like, this got to stop. So I self-excluded myself from all those casinos and can't gamble till 2027, but I'm not going to do it anyway. But that's that stopped that, and then so I just transferred that gambling addiction to like if I wasn't on Adderall, I would never. I could care less. It wasn't like a need. I didn't have to go and do it. If I did do it, it'd be like for 5 minutes, and I'd turn my phone off or whatever. I wouldn't even care. But when I was on Adderall, man, I was sitting in my van, like at the job site, just for hours and hours and hours, just smoking, drinking Red Bulls, and spinning. It was just it's a daily ritual. It's just embarrassing at this time, but and then I want to say so I was so prior to coming here about last year around I want to say April maybe around March April last year, my parents were trying to sell their house. They were pretty much like, dude, you're 30 something years old, get out of this house. Time, we need a break. All the stuff I put them through, and so I'm like freaking out. I don't know what to do. I finally got a job with another contractor painting, and it was in Mays Landing, so it was right around the area. And I just went in this motel. It's like the only thing I could think of because my credit was shot and just didn't have enough money for a house. So I stayed in this motel. It was pretty expensive. I don't know why it was that much money, but it was a lot of money. It was like $400 every week. And so, half the check that I was getting was going into that, and then the rest I was just pretty much gambling again. I mean, it was a nonstop thing, and it wasn't until there was a girl there who had no license. She was obviously an escort, but she'd be like, "Yo, can you go drive me?" Because no one else had a car there. I was like pretty much the only one. She wanted to get drugs, so I was like, I just asked about. I was like, "Can you get me meth?" Just wanted to try it because Adderall wasn't really working anymore, and that's when I got into meth, and it worked the first couple of times, and then I'm just, I didn't want to deal with her anymore. So I found someone else, and it was pretty steady. And I mean, at this point, I'm living in this motel. Didn't want my kids even near that place, just with the people all around. I mean, the guy that was next door to me had a underage girl there. Him and his wife had an underage girl there. They got picked up. They got sent to jail. There was like 3 overdoses in that place. It was, you could feel the evil there. I don't know what it is. It was just, you could feel it. Oh man, it was the worst. I mean, just the lonely nights I was just staying up for days on end, 5-6 days on end. And then I'd sleep for like maybe half a day and then go back and do it again and do it again and do it again. It was just never ending. I couldn't deal with it anymore. And so finally I ran out of money. I'm coming to the winter time was like around December 23rd. I had no more money. I couldn't stay in that motel anymore. My parents were like, I was like lashing out at my mom and just being who I just wasn't that person. I don't know what happened to me, but I lost myself that whole time. I don't know. My kids just didn't really talk to me. I didn't want to talk to them because I just wanted to be in my own mess. And so what I would really do is just play video games all night. Instead of gambling, I'll just play video games all night, all day, all night, on meth, and just not leave the room. And I didn't want to be around anyone out there. It's garbage. So I just play video games all night for months. And so this one guy I met on there, I've been playing with him for like 2 years at that point. And he lived in Connecticut, and I was telling him about, dude, I got nowhere to stay. I'm staying in my car. It's so cold. I mean, my feet were freezing. I was in a ShopRite parking lot. I mean, it's like bottom of the barrel stuff. It was garbage. I just couldn't sleep in there anymore. I couldn't do it anymore. And he was like, "Come on, come to Connecticut. I got you. Like, you just come over there. Don't worry about nothing. I'll take care of everything. You're good." And so I just drove. I mean, it was like 7 in the morning. I had to like turn the car on to heat my feet up because I couldn't even move my feet. It was so cold. And I had just enough gas to get there. And I didn't even tell my parents I was going. I asked them if I could stay there that night because it was so cold, but she didn't even answer me. So I was just like, I'm going. And so I drove all the way to Connecticut, met my buddy there, and he did a lot of cocaine. And because I couldn't get meth, I was like, I mean, of course I did the cocaine because it was, the better alternative to nothing at the time. I needed something. And but I was trying to do it like, I wanted the same feeling of meth. I didn't want to. You just can't get that with that stuff anyway. I mean, I tried so much, and I mean, I just remember just doing so much. My nose was clogged. I couldn't. I mean, every day I couldn't even do it anymore because I just now had nowhere to do it. I couldn't. Each nose was like clogged. My head was just congested, and I don't know, for some reason it makes your teeth hurt. It made my teeth hurt so bad, and so much so all I did was just take Tylenol, ibuprofen all day, every day. I mean, like clockwork, just to get rid of the headaches. And but I still kept on doing it anyway because I just I needed to do it. And I took so much Tylenol one morning. I just quit. I guess it's like 3 in the morning maybe. It started, these stomach pains. It felt like someone was punching the inside of my stomach. It hurt so bad, and I was trying to sleep it off for like 4 hours. I couldn't do it. Just moaning and groaning the whole time. I mean, every second it hurt. And finally, I was like, dude, you gotta take me to the hospital, man. This is just too much. So I went to the hospital in Connecticut, and they couldn't really. It was like a rinky-dinky one. Couldn't do nothing. I mean, all they did was just do the Tylenol reverse thing, because I took like 70 Tylenol. I mean, I didn't take it on purpose. I wasn't trying to kill myself or anything, but I just didn't really care. I just take them and didn't care. So they did a couple of those. They couldn't handle any more from being in such a small hospital, so they sent me to another hospital in Connecticut where I was in like ICU for a minute there. My numbers were so bad with my organs that I had to go to like this. They were saying like, you're going to need a liver transplant, and I wasn't a resident of Connecticut, so I couldn't really get any help from them, state-wise. So if you're from New Jersey, then you have a better chance of going to New Jersey and getting it, and you also need a liver transplant, which we don't do. And so they sent me to Lady Lords in Camden. It's the only place that was going to do it anyway, and I'd have to put myself on the list. And so the ambulance drove me from Connecticut all the way here 6,500 hours later, and just laying in ICU. I mean, my belly was like huge. I mean, just all the excess enzymes that my organs were like pushing out. I mean, it was a nightmare. Every day just laying there, just hated it, hated my life. I was scared because I didn't know, like, I mean, that's something you don't want to, when it's your body, like, it's on the outside, no problem. Like, you can handle it, but inside it's just, you don't realize how much damage you're really doing. Anyway, so let's say for like a week, I was just laying there and they were, just kept on doing the Tylenol reverse, whatever IV thing it was. And nothing was working. Kidneys started failing. And, I mean, just all these things happened at once. And then finally, just miraculously, I mean, after a little bit after a week, my numbers were starting to look good. And they're like, yeah, you don't need a liver transplant, but you might need to be on dialysis. And I don't know, a couple of days after that, it stopped. I mean, I don't know. There's just no other explanation than God. And I mean, I tried my best not to come here because, I mean, let's face it, we're all pretty much forced to come here by our own doing, just making the wrong choices. And, my mom had talked about coming here, and, I just blew it off back in January. I didn't come here until, I'm going to say, beginning of February. My brother came here about 20 years ago. He was pushing me to come here, and, right after that, getting news about my liver, you know, I knew I was coming here regardless. You know, I just, you know, God saved me from so much. I mean, I could have, so many things. I could have not been around with my kids. You know, it was just, there's a lot of stuff that, you know, that hurts. But this is, you know, I'm just glad to be here. And that's pretty much my story. A lot more pain, but, but thanks.